Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're working on Fume. It's a financial planning app. And lately we've been trying to work on, we just started looking at the ability to toggle things on or off. So usually it's income or expense, liability, expense, income, or asset, what we call LEIAs, or scenarios or groups. We'd like to be able to turn those off so that you can make a plan, explore it, and say, no, I don't want to use this option, and see the effect of that. All right. So I just pulled up plan. I'll kick off a test while that's going. And I lost my chat window. Okay, well that's building. Okay, and we'll take a peek at plan. All right, so plan, it's observable, but it's not, it is codable. So yeah, these do get stored. All right, so we'll have to make sure we're safe about it. But the plans represent either a Leia or a group or scenario, which either of those have children. A group is kind of like an and a scenario is kind of like an or. All right. Let's see. So we basically have a couple options. If I'm not, can't run while the tests are running. Okay. We present the plan items, and I think, we have a plan list view. Let's look at that, or plan view. Okay, so plan view knows which kind of things it's drawing. It's either drawing a Leia, a group, or a scenario. And each of these, somehow we have to put the state for each thing of those three types. Now we could put it on the plan object, which may be a good choice. Or we could have some other object that that kind of builds the toggles outside of it. But I don't know. I kind of think the plan would be a good place. Okay, good. Maybe we should look at the view. And I don't know, can we get a preview? Always iffy. All right, but you can see we got a plan composite view. This is used by group or scenario. It puts out a little icon. It puts out the name. It has a button to remove the plan, the little trash can, and it has a little pencil on paper icon to correspond to editing. Let's see what else. We have a plus. Right. So, I'm imagining that we'd stick something at the front of this, I guess before it, a toggle, and the plan tells us, are you active or not? Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing, thinking a little checkbox on the front. And I don't remember, is checkbox a thing, or do I have to do toggle? Is on label. Interest. Okay, plan is a binding, so plan dot something is active. And a label. I don't want a label. Is that no? Everything about it is wrong. Okay. Cannot convert label to tile. String to expected target type. Label cannot be deferred. Is on label. Let me try one more on the hat toggle. Is on label colon is a label. Oh, it's a binding. Okay. Closure. All right, our plans don't have is active. Okay, so let's add that. Now that's not good. Okay, so for our codable, we don't have is active in our stuff, so we have to make it optional. But then over on the view, he's not going to be happy with an optional. Cannot convert binding a bool to bool. Yeah. Cannot convert value of type string to label style configuration. I don't know what a label is. Title key, image of string. Do I use labels? Well, accessibility labels. Apparently not. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, this is the one I want, system image. Yeah, this is tricky. Maybe that will do enough. I wonder if that'll work. A system image. I'm a little... I don't know what label I'm getting on this toggle. Maybe I should look at an example of that first. Huh, that one has nothing. I missed that option. Okay, plan is active. Yeah, I don't know what happens if I try and create one. I guess if I don't have it, would it default it? Well, let that run a moment. If that's acceptable, that's great. That'll give us exactly what we want. Setting the flag will disable the plant. Yeah, I mean, given that it's a toggle, we have to... Well... Yeah, that's not so good. Don't I have just a little checkbox? Oh, toggle style. Okay. Unavailable on Mac. Oh, on iOS. Oh, man. Automatic button or switch. Can I say button? That would be something. Yeah, something horrible. Really, I don't want the label. Oh, how to hide the label of a picker, step, or toggle. Labels hidden. That's better. Set the flag to disable the. Yeah, I think we want it to be on is on. Let's run and see if everything defaults to having their toggle on. I'm worried that it's going to read things without is active and choke on them, but we'll see. I mean, should work in the non-IO case, so maybe it's okay. No complaints. Okay. I mean, that's a very visually dominant thing, but it's something. I don't know if I can tweak it down. I suppose I could give it a little frame. Yeah. Okay. So we can hide the label. I don't know. We can. Let's tweak this a little. Preview paused. Spreadsheets complain about my spacing. Okay, and this is on plan composite view. Doesn't address Leia view. Well, we got that there. but it's kind of similar. I switched. Sorry. I always browse around while I'm thinking about things. Okay, that's... Let me try and shrink that. I don't think I'm getting through to it. No, I don't think I'm accomplishing anything. A little padding seems like a good thing. Yeah, that's... I forget, can I say left for or leading? Yeah, we could make our own button. I don't know. At some level, it's better if you can avoid it because, like, from a just direct usability or accessibility, you know, the more standardized your stuff is, the easier it is to be acceptable. But it and I mean, we used it for the sort tables thing. We had a little I with the slash or not. That's not bad. Yeah. I mean, it's the Apple way, and I mean, for good reasons. You know, my usability lab is nothing. You know, they have one. Let's see. Let's do padding. So, you know, I tend to want to use it if I can get it to look halfway okay. And I think this does. The color's a little like in your face, but it's you know, it's not the worst thing ever. Okay. All right, but at any rate, I think the same thing on Leia view. Okay. The eye is nice though because it says I'm visible, and we can put accessibility stuff on it. You know, mark it as accessibility button or something, and I don't know. There's some stuff you can give it anyway. All right, so now this is all great. I mean, visually, it's an accomplishment, but functionally, it doesn't change anything. I mean, really, that boat looks so bad, we should just take it out, right? That'd be great. Now, why these are... Oh, sorry, it's just... No, that bottom one is... No, it's just the... It's the scrolling. Okay. They look chopped off, but I just had it just wrong, I think. Okay. I think it's a start. Like lots of things, you know, if you can get it working, that gives you something. But, if you don't have anything, having nothing longer so you can make a fancier button or whatever. I don't want to go that way. All right, so we added toggles to each plan item in view and in class. Okay, so, and the loading worked fine, so you woohoo on that. Good idea to put it true. Oh, can change the color toggle. Okay, that's good. We could pick something a little less green. I mean, it's nice to have something. Boy, I don't know what goes with our color scheme. Probably that dark blue, but I don't know. We'll save that thought. At least till it's functional. Okay, so now I think I don't feel too bad about just adding a field on plan. I mean, it's just really an externally set thing, and it's going to be saved with our stuff, so that's cool. If it does, yeah, observable is going to mark any field that changes. Okay. All right. So I think, plan and scenario, right, whoever's computing with this thing. Right. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad with the green. As long as it's at least a different green than this thing. I should add an asset or change this one to an asset, because that does have a darker green. It's brighter too. I don't think that'll be a problem. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best to go with, but it's tolerable. And again, it's kind of a standard thing. Green for that tells you. Okay. So we had to work out the impact of these things. And I think it really comes down to the scenarios. Remove. This is more of the editing thing. What's append? No, it really is the scenarios. So we do scenarios.add Leia. Well, I'm thinking we need to not, if the Leia is inactive, don't add it to the scenario and just return the original scenarios. And then recursively, this will take care of that. If we block this one. Okay, if there are no children, just return scenarios. Okay. So, we need some tests. See where they're doing scenarios. Scenario for entry with or child, or tree. Multiple scenarios. Okay. I think first off, let's create a set of scenarios and make sure the Leia is not added to it if it's inactive. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, because if this group is not active, don't add its children in. Just return the original scenarios. Same thing for scenarios. If the whole set of scenarios is irrelevant, just pretend it's not there, and same for this. So I think they're all kind of the same. Actually, we might be able to guard clause on the way in. If whatever we're looking at, if type is, wait a minute, what's Leia? Yeah, I guess for anything, just if the whole plan is inactive, bug out, just return scenarios. Okay, so let's build some tests like that. Okay, so I guess I want a simple one. Now these are being tested by, let's do more like this one. Scenarios don't include inactive Leia. Okay, if we make a stream, let's make this a var. And I don't know, I think this would be better as we got make stream here. We have a test one that's got a bunch of make streams in it. Oh, I guess that's not streams. Okay, I guess I'll live with it. Okay. And let's just start here. Make sure it's kind of in range. Now, if we do that, okay, so SUT is a plan, I hope. Come on. Well, plan has is active, so I'm pretty sure it's plan. So if we take scenarios with nothing in them, and there we go, and we map their net worth in 2034 January, result set count, I think we're going to say 0. Or, sorry, 1. You always have one scenario. But this will be 0. Okay. Now this test should fail. Hopefully for the right reason. Good. Okay, so it came back with 1,000. I'm not sure. 1,000. I guess we're only looking at that range. Okay. Well, but what I'm going to do is, if not is active, return scenarios. And I don't know, can I say type equals .leia? We'll do that kind of artificial thing now because I don't have the other tests in place. All right, but I think this should do it. Yeah. Okay, so let's run. And what we should see is LEIAs can be disabled, but groups and scenarios can't, which is a good thing. I mean, for where we are. I really want to turn off that boat. Oh no. I still have 8 scenarios. What if I turn this off? Oh, that helps. What went on there? Oh no, it did shift, didn't it? Okay. Yeah, if you cut out your expenses, you really do well. But that boat kills you. Now, why is boat in there? No, something is still wrong. Okay, so this was a boat, 700 a month inflation. Let's delete it. And that should have no visible impact, but it's got to because these scenarios are... Yeah, there's only 4 scenarios now. Something's weird. All right, let's look at... Well, no, not necessarily. Okay, group and scenarios. Okay, we were in this one. I did remove a Leia, but I thought it would have treated, to my mind, it should have treated an inactive Leia as if it were removed, and yet it doesn't. Let me try and add it back. A boat, and I don't remember how much we said it was, but let's say 700 tied to inflation, and it's an expense. Okay, well, he's not as bad as he was. Was it 850 before or something? But turning this off, it makes it better, but it still has all these scenarios. Now, yeah, I'm not convinced there's not something weird going on. But we haven't done scenarios yet, so maybe I'm being unfair. I should be turning off this one. Well, $1,000 a month growth inflation. Now that... No, wait a minute. There's still 8 scenarios, which shouldn't change. The order can change, fine. Did the... I guess there's 8 lines there. Okay, so it's... I guess that's only $1,000 out of your income, so it's not enough to really see. This one should matter, though, because that's your expenses. If I turn off the boat, it's not as bad. Turn off these, yeah. Okay, so something's funny with removing things from scenarios, but we haven't done the work for scenarios, so let's do the work. All right. Inactive. Let's go to scenarios because that's the really interesting one. Well, we don't, though. And I think we can demonstrate this because if I add a new one, I'll add a new scenario. Before I've added children to it, I don't know, party. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I'm actually not too happy about that. All right, if I add nothing, I think the 0 is legal. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, so you're right. If it's 0, we need to take care of it. Now, this is still only 8 combinations because there's only one choice for this quote scenario. I could have sworn that acted differently before, but maybe I'm misremembering. Okay, let's go find one with an or tree. Okay. Far leaf 1. Okay, let's leave this scenario with one combination. And again, I'm going to move these dates forward. Okay, we make a scenario with leaf 1, leaf 2. Build scenarios. We expect array count equals 1. And I don't know if I'm calculating that right. Just going to inline that. Tempted to inline this. Okay, scenarios don't include active, inactive. All right, so normally this would get 2 scenarios generated. I expect to find only 1, and only this should be active. I don't know if net worth. Is that net worth for a given month? Yes. Okay. All right, let's run this. This should fail. Okay. He has 2. And his set has 1 with 0. Okay. So maybe this has to be more fancy for scenario's case. Okay, so I think what he's doing... Okay, so we're going to build up a new result from the original scenarios, right? We go through the children with a number so we can get their name and generate the child scenarios given these other ones. Yeah, but it feels weird. I mean, I was so sure, for what that's worth, I was so sure I could do this and it would work, but I don't think so now. I think what's happening now, so it had that 0 2000. The 0 is because it was treated as inactive. So the child scenarios with the copy of everything doesn't, well, it includes the empty value that it got. And so it does build up the scenarios from it. But to your point, like if we checked if the child were active, yeah. Well, my hope was not including it. Yeah, I guess I was hoping not including it in any given scenario would sort of fall out, but that's not the way scenarios work. No, it shouldn't disable the scenario. It should just... So if I have, let's say I have a scenario with three choices, can test the disable the scenario first? Yes. I mean, we can. I don't know. That's not what we're testing here, though, is it? This should maybe say LEIAs. Okay, so we have an active scenario with 2 streams, but only one of them is inactive. What's the right name? Scenarios of scenarios, kind of. Right, so we have these 2 branches coming out. So whoever uses this is going to double their number of scenarios. I thought turning off this one would not include it, based on the if test here, that it would come in and say, oh, I shouldn't include you. But instead, he's just saying, I'm just going to return the scenarios. And even though it's going to be empty when you go in a level, what scenarios do you get from the copy? Well, you're going to get everything that you had plus a 0, because that child doesn't contribute anything when he's inactive. So he's blocked out at the lower level. But I think this has to be I'm going to have to avoid including a child that doesn't do anything, because then if I don't avoid it, I'm going to include new scenarios. The result is scenarios. Okay, well, let's check this. If child.is active, then we'll do these two. Maybe even this, right? We don't need the new name. We don't need the child name unless we're building it. Okay, so if it's got an active child, it's going to include it. I think this will pass the test. But notice we don't know if we've included any children. And I think to your earlier comment, if we have an empty scenario, it shouldn't say, well, you've got, all your scenarios times 0, so you got 0 scenarios now. So I don't know if we have to count or check a Boolean to say, do you have anything in you? If you don't have any active children, then it should be 0. Okay, so, well, let's run this again. I think we'll have fixed one thing. Sut was never mutated. Okay. Okay, so if I turn off boat, I should get 4 scenarios now. Yes. Okay. That is good. Yeah, we need to do the same sort of thing for groups. But a group doesn't hurt you as much. Let's add a group. Yeah, so, I mean, a group doesn't introduce any new scenarios. It just sort of organizes stuff. Turning it off has no effect if it's empty. Okay, but I think we got something good. I mean, this is what I really, really wanted out of this. I could go in and turn off this thing. Or, well, ideally I could get rid of this entirely. We haven't dealt with that case. If a scenario, if something is inactive, don't include it. Now, it's kind of bad. It would be lovely, I should say it this way. It would be lovely if turning off the group implicitly turned off all these. But it doesn't really work that way. But turning this off should take... No, it does not. Oh, it doesn't work yet. Yeah, okay. Sorry. All right. So... I think I can rename this a little. Scenarios containing inactive LEIAs don't include them. Okay. Now, the next one... I think is the way to say this. So what was the complaint up here? Oh, it goes away. Okay. I'm going to make this just let this still be active, and it's such that we're going to make inactive. Now, am I allowed to do that? Okay. So in this case, we have no scenarios. So we expect this count to be 1, meaning no additional scenarios. And the net worth should be 0, even though these things have value. Yeah, I think that's okay. Well, I think that should fail, but we can fix it. Good. Okay, so we get 2 things because he's not ignoring those. All right, let's do that up here. Well, okay, we'll live with this for now. If type is Leia or type is .scenarios and you're not active, just return. So I think this is the thing at the top level that says, like, the whole scenario is not real. Get over it. Okay. So I think that should pass. Yeah, we'll put in the same test for group, and then we can just simplify this. Okay. Yeah, let's run it though. I mean, I want to make sure it's working before I turn it off on groups. Scenarios are the big one. Okay, so now this boat. Now this should take out the job and the boat. Yeah, no job, no boats. Okay. Good. All right, now let's go ahead and do the groups. Well, we kind of need both these tests, don't we? I get better at this. Okay. Okay, this one's actually scenarios for groups don't include deactivated LEIAs. Now, I don't know how we make scenario with a group. I don't think make scenarios is going to cut it. Do we have a make group? We do. Scenarios for groups don't include deactivated LEIAs. Scenarios with inactive groups. Okay. So instead of make scenarios, this is make group. Okay. Now this expect one scenario. Yes, we would anyway, because groups don't generate new ones. Net worth should only be 2,000 though, not 3,000. Okay, so I think that one will pass with, or fail with, wait, let's make sure. I think it'll fail with $3,000 coming in. I don't know what the last test will do. Okay. I guess that's covered by the cases we already did. Because we peel out LEIAs that don't add, so, and they don't affect the scenario. So I guess that's okay. But this one should fail. All right, this is make group. 2 jobs. Do I need to add the group to a scenario? No. They're already, I mean, a group is just, let me get this up here. So we have an implicit group already, kind of. These two things, well, actually everything is sort of in an implicit group right now. Boring has nothing in it, so he's a boring group. But yeah, it's this top level thing is a group, so it's kind of an example of that already. Okay, but this one, these are left alive. The group is turned off. He should have, well, he has one scenario to start with. He won't generate more, but his result should be 0, even though he's got 3,000. Okay. Now, yeah, I think this might fail. I think this will fail. I expect it to fail. Yeah, the top level one is actually a group. I don't know if you can see it in the yeah, I guess you can. The little clipboard is my notation for a group. I don't know. I was thinking there's a fork in the road icon. That would be a better one, wouldn't it? All right, what are you doing? You're testing. Okay, yeah, he got 3,000 back. So he, even though he was supposedly an inactive group, he included his children, and we got 3,000. Okay, so shoot. Okay, so here. Well, I think we'll take this condition out completely because now it's the same condition for everybody. If you come in and it's inactive, you just return it. You don't try and add to it or do anything to it. You certainly don't go through your kids. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, I think I can explain the difference. The case for a group, you take the result of the existing scenario and you include one at a time the children from the group. Each time you do it, it results in a new scenario set. And so if we leave out the group, we're just not building up that existing scenarios. Whereas the scenarios, when we are generating forks in the road, and so if we include a scenario, even though it doesn't add anything, its children are zeroed out, it's still going to include the scenario, so it just looks worse. But this thing of an empty scenario, I think we really should get that too. But first, let's see if this works. Let me find that fork. There it is, arrow.triangle.branch. Okay, good. And let's run that. All right, so by this logic, I should be able to turn off this and end up with one scenario with 0. Yeah. Okay, good sign. All right, if I turn off... Oh, I don't really have another example. We can add some. Let's give ourselves an asset here. And we'll make it noticeable. Okay, so now if we turn off... I thought it put commas in these. Something's not consistent. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. This should take away $500,000 from us. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. Yeah, it's really a pity. If I were to actually, if flipping this off flipped off these children, it would be annoying because when I flipped it back on, I'd have all my children canceled. All right, but I should be able to turn off any scenario groups. Yeah. Okay. Is that very expensive boat? Okay. Well, let's add this arrow triangle swap. What's arrow.swap? Oh, arrow triangle merge. No, branch. Okay, somewhere is the icon. That's Leia. It must be on plan view. Plan composite. Do I just call it twice? Oh, there we are. Yeah, strike through would be nice. But I would really, no, this is definitely good for scenarios. I would like to, now that would be cool. The thing is, you don't have control over the children view. I mean, because it's kind of a recursive thing, we just let the child worry about that. I suppose we could pass more information down or something. Yeah, let's see what we have to do for strike through. Well, wait, before we do, what else do we have to do to make this function? Let's check it in, what it is. Okay, so we make selecting deselecting work for Leia group or scenario. Okay. I assume we can just do some sort of font. I hope that's a strike through. Hopefully it has a Boolean on it. Of course not. Strike through is active. Oh, it does. Good. They don't always do that. Okay, so we can turn that on. Now let's use as default. Okay, that's pretty good. So we just need to find that text. Text plan.name. Is active is normally true, so the is active should work for this. Maybe not. Oh, it has to be the not. Let's check this. Now we could pass. I mean, it's just one bit of information, right? It's we could pass a flag down to the children to say, is your parent inactive? And if it is, then it would use the strike through, and its button could stay on, but it's struck through. You would know a parent had it. Okay, so that's all right. Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't want things flipping around in children. Okay, and then Leia view needs the same kind of thing. Literally. And these are similar. Do I want to strike through everything? Maybe I do. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. If I just struck through the text up here, it wouldn't be right. Okay, cool. Good call. Okay, so now plan list view. Let's see who uses that. Oh, that is the top level view. Okay, so for each thing, do that with a plan view. So plan view. No, as far as I can tell, these disclosure things don't. I can't find any programmatic control for them. I'm not sure why not. But yeah, I agree. It would be nicer if it just closed it. You wouldn't have to worry about the strikeouts, really. Okay, but I think what I'm going to say is you're going to pass the parent is active flag, and then you're going to show strike through if either you are not set or your parent is not set. Okay, and this is I want to make sure that top level 1 is okay. Now this list, there's really only one thing in there. So the outline group, really the plan, I think the all right, let's set this up. So plan view, I think it needs to know is parent active. Okay. And who's going to call that? Well, that's here. And this is the top level one. So I think it really is plan.is active. All right, let's see if that. Oh, we don't have any visual for it. Cannot find plan. Oh, it's tree. I assume this is a preview. Yeah. So this should be a case of downward flow in a tree. I don't know. We use that. What do we call it? Synthesized and inherited. So this is an inherited attribute of things. Okay, so this is true. That's false. Okay. I guess he starts out true, so that's fine. All right, so now there's got to be recursion somewhere, right, in these plan views. Okay, so plan group view, plan scenario view. Okay, so I want this coming through the children. And I think I have to. Okay. You know, I think I can. No, let's do it. Okay, so is parent active? Now we have that down here. I don't know, no, I want it before the icon. No, I'm messing it up somehow. Well, I guess we got to do the children, right? Well, let's see what happens. This is only for group and parent. I guess we won't see it until we do a Leia, unless we put scenarios inside scenarios. Okay, let's see party. Let's add a scenario inside there. Disappears because we don't have anything left. Well, that's not what I wanted. I wanted it in here. Okay, now if I turn this off, he's off. I feel like I'm not passing down enough, but I got to get it down to the leaf level and do something with it. So let's carry it down to Leia view. Yeah, I think you're right. Each child needs to be based on if the parent or itself is not active. Somewhere there's recursion, but maybe there isn't. Oh man, this is not. I don't think this will work this way. Because the outline group is going to be in the way. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we'll revert. Plan list view. So the way this works is it controls which node, and it works its way through the children. So you can see it has the list of children. It knows what the children are, and they only get kind of activated one at a time. Here's the split node. We'll put that in, and then it goes down to the next one and says, okay, your child is this one, and puts that in. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to revert these. I don't think the component's gonna let me do it the way I'm just doing it there. I don't think we can get the information we need. Because a Leia doesn't know. We don't have a parent pointer, so you can't go backwards and ask your parent, are you active? It would help the situation in some ways, but then your data is so tangled up. Now, yeah, there's no good way to do that. I was thinking you could start at the top of the tree and work your way down and decide if any ancestors were there, but that would mean walking the whole tree until you found the node you're on, which is relatively ugly. Let's take a look. I think I can live with it like this. You're right. If we would close the node, it would help. And then we can look into whether that's really possible. I may have misunderstood what I was seeing. It seemed like the pieces were there, but kind of halfway. Okay, so turning this off. It's not very visually compelling, is it? I mean, it would be really nice if these things would gray instead of be colors. Yeah, let's look at outline group and see what we can do there. Okay, it has a hierarchy. I don't know if I can. 5 parameters: the data, the ID, okay, parent. Subgroup, a type of a view that groups a parent view and a view that represents children. Well, let's see what this subgroup thing is doing. Type of race view representing the children. Could you swap out the array of children for the outline group when it's inactive? Yeah. Well, actually, what I wonder is when we generate the scenarios. I mean, one thing is, one weird thing is, like, we added like nothing, right? I don't have anything that. All the toggle does is flip that bit in the plan. I don't have any other action going on at that point. I don't want to set the children flipped. Okay, let's take a break. But yeah, let's spend 3 minutes thinking about can we do something when you toggle that would trigger this to change? I don't want to disappear it because I think it's good to see it, but I don't want it quite so visible either. All right, see you in 3 or 4 minutes. Welcome back. All right. I think the thing to keep in mind that I keep blurring, there's sort of a different time when you're selecting these and when you're computing the scenarios. And so the visual part of adding and deleting and, editing and so on, including the toggles, that's happening up high. The scenario calculation has nothing to do with the display of the lower half of the screen. It's all about the upper half. Yeah, I think you're right. A disclosure group can be expanded or not, but I couldn't figure out a way to get access to them. I think we did dig into this. Pretty sure it was us here. I don't think I was doing anything on my own about it, but I guess I could. Let's look around a little, but control outline group disclosure. Now I did see somebody had one where they totally replaced the outline group. Maybe this is this one. I'm not paying to read it, so it must not have been that one. I think this is just demonstrating it. But all these blue links tell me I definitely did go looking around for this before. Right. I mean, disclosure group works. Yeah, you can. I think it's a little awkward looking. I would rather have the clicker on the left, but I mean, outline group is built from those. I guess say programmatically. I don't know. Yeah, not a lot. No, it's not outline groups. No. Yeah, I think that's what I saw somewhere. You would have to just redo the whole outline group to do it. I don't know. I mean, you can see the impact in a couple of ways, right? So this goes gray, this gets struck through, and if it's scenarios, then it it gets rid of a bunch of scenarios. And so something's going on with that. If it were like this, if it automatically closed, that wouldn't be so bad. I mean, again, you can tell you're being warned that it's if it automatically did this, you would have some indication. I think I'm going to live with it. I do like the cross through. If we were writing our own, we could definitely pass through the parent's closure status, and then when you decided to draw the children, you'd have to pass the status down. Things with children would have to pass their own status down, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think, its outline group has not been in here all that long. I think it just hasn't had time to mature enough to get you the control you need. It really, I mean, it'd be nice if you could, I would love to know the depth of the hierarchy at that point, or, access to it. And the alternative would be, or an alternative, I should say, if each plan knew its parent, and you could ask your parent, "Are you active?" Then we could, you could work your way up to the top and say, "Are any of you inactive? And if so, I'll be inactive, or I'll act like I'm inactive." But I don't think that's gonna be worth the trouble either. And like I said, the two-way pointers and stuff just sort of makes stuff more vulnerable. You know, if you move something or delete something, you have to make sure to delete the pointer in the one and the pointer in the other, and you know, all that. Okay, now the one thing I do want to do though, and I think will be worth it, is that zero case. So we had the party split. If I take this out, all of a sudden everything's gone. Okay. So, well, branching doesn't have anything either. Okay. So, I think it should detect if it got rid of all its scenarios, then just return the original scenarios. And that is, where would that be? Plan. Okay, so scenarios does all the work here. Right. So I think I need to go through. Yeah, I believe it's only a problem with scenario, because if you remove a Leia, like scenarios are the only ones that generate multiple scenarios from one situation. Everybody else is kind of adding to the current state. So whatever the current state is, and I add a new asset, it just gets appended in, and there's no differentiation. But here you start with scenarios, and if you don't have any children, we return that. But now we've got this child is active thing. Well, even that. I thought that would do it too. Oh, if the children is null, it may be not null. It may be empty. I guess that's probably what's really going on. So what happens is you don't return scenarios, which is what you came in with. You return result, which is what you've built up from the list of these things. But now, if you have no children and children was nil, then we just return scenarios. But every other case, if you have a array of children, but the array is empty, then you're going to come through here. There is no active child, and so you're just going to return, children not enumerated is going to be empty, and this returns an empty scenario set, and that's why there's a blank screen at that point. What I believe it should do, though, is if should have a zero child. It doesn't even need that, I don't think. I think it just needs to return the original scenarios. So with what this does is it takes every original scenario. So when you have a child, he says, for every scenario that's out there, I'm going to append myself to it. And then since we're doing that for each child, we end up with, a new set for each child. So this, we don't need a zero child if we just knew, like if result is empty, then just return scenarios. And maybe that's all we have to do. Have to decide which, did we have children that added anything? If not, then there's no point in generating a bunch of empty scenarios. But I think the real thing here is in the original before today, if you had one child, you knew you had at least one scenario coming back out. The way it is now, you could have a bunch of inactive children. It gives you an effective zero, but we still would pretend they're going to be a result, which is an empty scenario. So let's see. I guess the test for that. Okay, so let's go back to the scenario one. It's actually more like this one. Okay, scenarios with effectively no children, return original. Okay, so we're going to do this leaf 2. Okay, so now we have a scenario. It's both its children are inactive, and I passed in one scenario. I think the way it is now, I think this will fail. I think that'll get a 0, and then the contents don't matter because they're not part of that. Okay, so I believe this will fail. Yeah, that's exactly it. New scenarios is empty because no children contributed to that new scenario list, even though you started with 1. And we do always start with 1. That's that scenario. And I don't know if the name needs to be there. The more scenarios we have, the less. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Expected 0, but it was 1. Sorry, we got 0, but it was 1. So we did zap. Even this empty no content scenario now is gone. And if we evaluate that, it comes up to 0. So if it were there, it'd be great, but it's not. Okay. So I think that comes down to plan. Result dot count. Well, let's say return. Okay, so we only return this result if it's got something in it. Otherwise, we must have had no children adding anything because we always start with 1. So we somehow got rid of that. Okay, so I think this should pass the test, and I think it should do what we want. It's kind of funny we have so many combinations, but I think they're all legit. That, turning off the children versus the parent and all that stuff, they're all distinct in some sense. Yay. Okay, and we'll run. Alrighty. So we have split. I still have it. Okay, yeah, if I turn off 1, it's okay. Turn off 2. Yeah. Okay, so we have 4 scenarios now. This has 4. This has 8. And adding a scenario should not clear the graph. Yeah, let's do that. Try it to be empty. Okay, and the graph is not cleared, whether it's there or not. So, cool. All right. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's things that just make everything go away. That makes you panic for a moment. So making that not happen is a good thing. All right, I like it. I guess I haven't done much of this. Okay, so Okay. Nice. I think that's all I wanted out of that thing. The toggling was really relatively easy. I'm kind of impressed with that part. Some of the rest, yeah. All right, I did find this. I don't know that I want to go back at this very moment, but I'll share it. So the question was, like, I'd like to control these legends. And what I would really like is I would like to be able to tap these and have them go in and out. Maybe strike through or something and not show up in the scenario list. I don't know if we can do that, but we can. You can say chart legend and then put your own stuff in. Symbol. Oh, maybe that's not as helpful as I thought. Okay, so that's really the symbol is string. Okay, I guess that must be the name of the thing. Yeah, I was wondering if I could put toggles on those or just tap them and they strike through or don't strike through and just totally remove some scenarios. You know, if I could, I'd like to tap that and have it do strike through and remove it from the graph. If it removes it from the graph, how are we going to know? I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe it produces empty data in that case or something, but there's got to be something. So it's a future story that's kind of like include, exclude from this net worth so that I can, again, it's a different slice, right? Because this is a path through all the choices. You know, I took split 1 with job, SS, spouse 1 SS. I took number 2 SS and so on. You know, so it's different than doing this. So I don't know. It's a consideration. I'm trying to look at like my real uses of this. You know, when I've got 8 or 27 of these, it's really hard to make sense of it. And it would be nice to even just tap and see one go disappear or not. I know if it was disappearing from the low branch or the high branch. Maybe I could tap the 3 bad ones and then say, oh, what's common? Oh, it's that boat, you know, whatever. But it's a future story we may not bother with. I don't know. We'll see. But can we tap each legend to show or hide it? Okay. So we're done with that story. Now we're kind of working out what's next. So we got about a little over half an hour today. Let's see. So date specifier unchanged. That would require an update. Growth non-nullable. Also an update. Not terrible, but you know. Another thought I had was instead of using none for the default, maybe create one that's named default and let it be, you know, 0 to 100 or something. So if anybody creates anything, it would just come up with the default. I don't know, maybe. Date and amount-based assumptions, that's probably our next medium-sized story. Relative be on Leia rather than amount. It's a little weird. I can say this thing's an asset and it's a relative amount based on an income stream. And it's like those two don't line up. So it seems like the relative is kind of a higher level concept than we have it. Back to streams, we could make 2 depend on each other, and I think that's probably easier. Right, because if I made relative be on Leia, I could say you can only point to Leia's. You can't point to other relatives. You know, you can only use one of the other ones. Date and scenario required for value computation. Best UI, I think we kind of did that. Best UI for stream name, yeah. Okay. Error report if a Leia name is reused in a scenario, yeah. Let dates depend on death day. Well, that's really part of this. Okay, and I'm gonna classify. This is refactoring. This is kind of an errors. I think we did that. I guess I would call that user interface. Flows is a big story. Possibility should be a struct. That's a refactoring idea. Maybe I should put these down for flows. Do people require distinct names? This is kind of error stuff. Okay, sections. That was an early one. I thought... originally my thought was you would have sections to this thing, like one would be kind of like current and another would be, my active plan, and the other would be like possibilities, and let you kind of work within those. I think it still kind of makes sense. You can do it here. You could just make your own top level groups, So I don't know. It's a bit of a feature, I guess. Move plans to plans with group versus plan in various places. Okay. Yeah, we have array of plans, so you can see it here. This is the top level. Right now, this for each, there's only one thing. So the outline group is under my finances. There's only one plans in that list. We could, well, I don't know. It creates issues about how do you move stuff between things and all that. So I'm not as excited to do it, but in a way, it would be nice if you didn't see my finances there, but I don't know. It's kind of, I guess there's no reason to turn off everything, right? That's just too boring. I'd be happier starting at this top level, but this does give you a place to add to. So I don't know. It's a tweaky thing. I don't know. Move streams between sections. Well, we don't have sections, but I could see saying reorganize these things in various ways. Not a super high view. Calendar view, I don't think that's going to be in the cards. Move streams, I don't think we're going to do it, but I'll put it with this other. Okay. So, let's see. I don't want to take on too much with half an hour to go, but maybe that's okay. All right. Let's make sure we're... Is it just the to-do? Why is this thing complaining? I think that's, yeah. I don't know if we ran tests before those check-ins, so let's do that. Oh, we did, because we had actual unit tests going. Okay. So, what's a good one to work on next? I think the date-based assumptions are a natural follow-on. Possibilities a struct. Move plans with groups versus plan. Yeah, so the top level one needs that. I don't know if we probably use arrays of plan in places that don't need to. That's not very many. Children has to be an array of plan, I think. Possibilities has plans as array of plan. Okay, it's less prevalent than I thought. Tree view requires mutable collection. Yeah, that outline group tree view, it definitely brings constraints to us. But I think we'll let that go. I'm trying to find a way to the end of the project, so I think probably maybe next week we'll wrap things up. I think this date and amount stuff is good. I think this is one I'll talk to my other user. I'm not too worried about these refactorings. They're not very deep, or not critical. Yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna defer this one. Okay, I'll just put defer. Same thing for this one. All right. Well, that sort of says work on date-based stuff. Okay. Well, we can certainly start that. Okay. So one is let dates depend on a death date. All right. So the way it is now, you have your assumptions, but they're all percents. And so what I'm proposing is I'd like to add some that are either dates, like month, years, or ages. So kind of like, this one's fine. We could make a start month that's, Liza is 67. Okay. And I could name it. Well, I'm trying to think how the Social Security thing's working. That probably belongs where it is here. But the death date one, we don't have a dependency. So maybe the month year is enough, but it would be a different kind of assumption, and it would be a fourth one for this that you would select it, and you would have a drop down of assumptions that look like dates, look like month years, and so I could put stop work 2025 January, and make my salary have an end month to stop work. Okay. And if I changed it to say, well, maybe I can make it to 2027, then that would adjust that end date automatically and stop the stream at that time. Okay. So, this will require us to add a section to assumptions, and then add something to dates. The date specifier is going to need a new character to it. Now, is it going to be easier going top down or bottom up? Well, it's probably easier to have them if the assumptions are there. So maybe let's start with assumptions. Provide a mechanism to let you have dates or percents. So assumption. Now I was assuming they were ints. Do you need a numerical assumption for anything? Do I want to make my salary depend on something, a slider? I guess you could. And let's look at assumptions. And it's kind of weird calling them the same thing because they're not. Yeah, I mean, these things know their percents. The only thing is they're used. Well, there's an assumptions view, right? Right. This thing knows it's got the list of them. That's the header. There's the for each for all the assumptions. Yeah. I don't think I want to try and pin month year into a numeric quantity. I don't know. I guess what I'm thinking is maybe these are called the percent assumptions, and we have a section that calls a view for those, and then another section that's month, year, or date assumptions. Rather than try and shoehorn everything into an assumption, because the use of them is going to be totally separate. You're not going to use a growth rate that's a date. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's start with some refactoring then. Let's make this be percent assumption. Oh, I did make an enum, didn't I? Yeah, I left a little room for it. I was originally thinking that percent would be one case and month year another, but I think maybe separate is better. Okay, so percent. I think this part's going away, honestly. I don't think we're going to do anything with this. All right. Let me do the renames, and then we'll come back to that after we get the other one going. All right. So now, are you going to rename again? No. Age assumptions similar to pursuit. Yeah, but they've got to have totally different stuff, right? They have to have a number. Maybe there's a range, but they also have to reference the name of the person. Boy, those references to person, that's one of those things. I think maybe I took the wrong approach there. Maybe what we should have done is say, if you delete a person, we should walk through the whole plan and either delete them or flag them as an error or something, rather than just letting it float. I don't know. No, it's going to be blocked. Maybe it's caught on enough to tell me. I guess we're editing the object underneath. Boy, this thing is accumulating a lot of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Nope. Okay. Why are these? Are these not pushed? Hope I didn't just mess myself up. Okay. Well, this one think he is a percent assumption view. There's no way around that. Did I miss this one? Assumptions view might still be something. He probably will be all these. Okay. Oh, we're building. I don't know what's in that header. Oh, all the little buttons. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? Okay, so let me look at assumption. All right, mostly ID name type. Okay, we won't need type. ID is handy if you're putting these things in lists and visual. And then the min, max, and current. Okay, so I don't think we need min, max for dates. We just need month, years. Okay, so let's put in a date assumption. I missed a rename though. Yeah, and it was almost percent assumption is really just a bag of data. We don't have lots of behavior in there. Okay. Still building. Okay, so let's add the date assumptions for our test. All right, and so we're imagining there's a collection. Whoops, a collection of these things. I don't know. I do so much cleaning up. I'm not sure I'm getting much. I don't really need to think through those. Okay. And let's look at what we did with these percent assumptions. Oh, well, we need to track change. That's good to know. Okay, so let's start with a make. Let's do a little better on this one. Okay, that doesn't exist yet. Okay, that's the one I'm after. Yeah. All right, so this, I think we just, oh, sorry, this is observable. Boy, so similar. Let's, we don't need find monthly rate. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably too fast on the rename here. Can I make this thing generic? Well, let's write the test and then we'll do it. Okay, so set.was changed is false. And then we're going to do something. Set.add, I think it is. Yeah. Maybe find something less depressing. Holiday. did. All right. Can I make assumptions? Well, not support engineering types. Okay, I'll back it up a little. So let's make public class assumptions. Restore that. Okay. And then let's let that be generic. It's going to be a mess. Boy, that's all. Okay. It's close, but not quite gonna work. I suppose I could make something that's a nameable type, and don't know. Well, this, I think we'll start with that failing test. That's the only thing we have checked out right now. Okay. And we'll just have to make our own data assumptions class. Use that. Okay, so we'll pick up there tomorrow and see if we can do this. I know it's going to be kind of similar to the other. I'm sorry about that, but we'll see what we can do. All right. Have a good evening. Tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks, Mudshark, for your help today, as always, and have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.